Uh, Moving on, in terms of fiqh, fatawa, this aqalliyat business. I mean, you've done a book or you've wrote extensively on this. Is there a need? I mean, sorry, just explain to everybody what fiqh al-aqalliyat is first and foremost, and why there's a need for it.
Well, this originally started off as a thesis, and then eventually it became a book, and it's now published. Fiqh al-aqalliyat was something which was coined maybe 20 or so years ago, and it was a response to try not to use too sort of big words and act clever, but it was a response to this view that there was an epistemological crisis within Islam. And what I mean by epistemological crisis is that Islam was no longer relevant, or Islamic law or Islamic principles were outdated, and there was no flexibility within them. There was no robustness within them to be able to deal with living in 21st century and living within a democracy. The tool didn't work. That was the argument, putting it in simple terms. And therefore, there was a number of scholars who felt that there was a need now to develop something called fiqh al-aqalliyat. And what this fiqh al-aqalliyat means is, fiqh obviously just means the interpretation or the derivation of law from the source text, and aqalliyat, which are obviously al-Quran, the Quran itself, the ahadith, the ijma, particularly the aqwal, the salaf, the words of the statements of the salaf, and also some reasoning is involved in that as well. So reasoning does play a part in Islamic law itself. So and the aqalliyat part comes from is the minority, and the argument that was given is that the classical...
Sorry, aqalliyat actually means minority.
Minority, yeah. It means a small group of people. And the reason why this was being mentioned was when the classical manuals of fiqh were put together, for example, the Hidayahs and the Radul Muhtars and the various books that exist, they were put together when Muslims were in a majority position. So all this ijtihad that was taking place, all this understanding that was taking place when Muslims were a majority. In fact, the concept or the idea that a Muslim would take up permanent residency in a minority situation was absolutely unheard of. It
just to add to that, I mean, or just to question you on that, and